Good evening. I'm Artist, I'm Science Slime, and today we are doing some Marvel Deep Dive. What the? That's not the music I was trying to play. Dang it, I spoiled what the music was that I was gonna do. So, since today is 4th of July, I figured, hey, why don't we do Captain America's Marvel Deep Dive? Today's Marvel Deep Dive is gonna be everything Captain America related. Now, I think I have quite a few characters chosen out for today, but a lot of these characters are short, and I don't mean in stature. I mean their page length. Their how big their sections are in this book. If you are not familiar with Marvel Deep Dives, here is how it goes. I have a big book of Marvel characters, a Marvel encyclopedia, as it were. Here, Data, you're in the way. There we go. I have a big Marvel encyclopedia that I have been going through every now and then, choosing out a bunch of characters that I want to either learn about or share knowledge about them on stream. I have... like, this book is fairly lengthy. It is, including the index, it is 439 pages, and this is not a tiny book. It is fairly big in terms of actual physical size. So it's been fun to go through this, learn about new characters, and learn new facts about characters that maybe you thought you already knew. So today's theme is Captain America. Let me just flip to the right page, because now this isn't going to be only Captain America. This is going to be Captain America and Captain America adjacent characters. Because, like, while Captain America has, like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages in this book, this is still only one character. And my god, that is quite a bit of pages for one character. Like, I think the only others that even have that many pages are, like, Iron Man and Spider-Man. Let me actually check. Iron Man has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Iron Man only has 4 pages? What? That's insane. I guess Iron Man wasn't really considered an A-lister until the MCU-ish. Maybe a little bit before that, but not really too much. I know Spider-Man was 6 pages. I think Thor was that many as well. Let me check. Thor has... whoa. Yo, Oxen. How's it going? We are doing Marvel Deep Dive today, which is a, having a little look in my big Marvel encyclopedia at a bunch of Marvel characters. Today's theme is Captain America and Captain America adjacent characters. Let's see. Thor has 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 pages. I thought Thor had 6, like Spider-Man. Is it really only Spider-Man and Cap that have 6 pages worth? There's no shot. Because, like, that's a lot of pages for, like, one character. Spider-Man has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. And that's including one more day, the travesty that was. I'm just trying to find if there were any others that were like 6 pages long, because like this is crazy if there were only like 2 characters that have that many pages. Secret Invasion has 2, which fair enough, that's whole Secret Invasion. This character only has 2. Thought they had a little more than that, but that's fine. Wolverine might have 6? Hang on. TUVW. Here we go. Wolverine has 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4. That's weird. Okay. Anyways, we are going to be going over Captain America and Captain America adjacent characters since America Day. I don't know what you expect other than that. So, let's get started. I'm going to be shifting over to the actual music that we are going to be using for today, because I have picked out some America-themed music. Observe. All right, Captain America, living legend of World War II. Let's begin. In the late 1930s, with the threat of World War looming in Europe, the American High Command embarked upon a program to create the perfect soldier, Project Rebirth, spearheaded by Dr. Abraham Erskine? Sure, let's go with that. It was intended to create a battalion of supreme fighting men, stronger and more resilient than normal soldiers, expertly trained and equipped. A bulwark against the Nazi aggression. The first test subject for Erskine's revolutionary super soldier serum was a young would-be artist named Steve Rogers, who had attempted to enlist but was turned away, classified 4F because of his physical frailty. That's... okay. Physical frailty. That's... I don't... Okay. I don't know why that word seems weird to me. Abraham Erskine, operating under the codename Professor Reinstein? Okay. Created the super soldier serum. It turned frail Steve Rogers into the perfect specimen of humanity. Peak human physical peakness. His powers. Okay, let's go over the actual attributes description. I don't know. Real name Steve Rogers. Occupation adventurer. Adventurer. That's his occupation. Not like soldier or what have you. Okay. Base Brooklyn, New York. Stark Tower, Manhattan, New York. Height 6'2". Weight 240 pounds. Okay, that's actually wow. A lot of that would be muscle. That's fair. Blue eyes, blonde hair. First appearance, Captain America Comics #1. The super soldier serum brought Rogers to the peak of physical perfection, able to lift twice his own body weight. Expert military strategist, Olympic-level martial artist and gymnast, resistant to disease and fatigue. Dang. All right. The super soldier. Subjected to Erskine's process, Roger's body virtually doubled in size as millions of healthy cells were created almost instantaneously. His physique was accelerated to the pinnacle of human perfection. All weakness and deficiency drained out of it. However, the secret test area was infiltrated by the Nazi sympathizers, who slew Dr. Erskine, the only person who knew how to how the process worked. Although Rogers quickly captured the saboteurs, it was clear that there would be no battalion of super soldiers now. Steve Rogers would be the only one. Honestly, it might have worked out better that there was only one, maybe. Because, like, imagine how terrifying a whole army of Captain America's would be. Like, that would be a lot for the American army to have, and, like, maybe that wouldn't be the best thing for the world at large, for one nation to have that many soldiers. That many Captain Americas, when one is already pretty powerful. Anyways. The result of, this is pointing to Captain America's vibranium shield. The result of a metallurgical accident. Captain America's shield is the most durable object known to man. Yeah, it is pretty powerful. Captain America arrives in the nick of time to prevent Sharon Carter being blasted into the... Prevent Sharon Carter being blasted into the blue, courtesy of Nazis, Menace Red Skull. Equipped with a virtually unbreakable red, white, and blue shield, the product of an metallurgical accident, and trained in combat, tactics, espionage, and the fighting arts, Rogers was rechristened Captain America. Clad in a striking star-spangled uniform, he became a symbol for the U.S. fighting forces and a dread nemesis of the Axis powers. In his many battles against the Nazi aggression, Captain America was joined by a sidekick, the worldly James Bucky Barnes, who had discovered the secret of Rogers' true identity. So really, it was kind of a secret in the comics for a little bit. Unlike in the movies. Among the foes combated by Cap in the present day is MODOK, the mental organism designed only for killing. They really could have done MODOK better in the movies. They really could have, but no. No, we got Ant-Man. We got Ant-Man Quantumania. MODOK was the result of an experiment by the sinister think tank known as Advanced Idea Mechanics, or AIM. Spoilers, MODOK is not actually one of the characters in this list. Oh boy. Bucky's death. Towards the end of World War II, Cap and Bucky Barnes were set out to foil Baron Zemo's scheme to steal a drone plane laden with a bomb. Jeez. As the plane took off, Bucky and Cap leaped aboard. Cap fell into the sea, but Bucky had clung on, trying to defuse the bomb. The bomb exploded, Bucky was killed, and Cap was haunted by the memory ever since. We'll see about that. Together, Cap and Bucky tore a swath through the ranks of the enemy forces, vanquishing such Nazi menaces such as the Red Skull. Agent Axis, and the Iron Cross. The duo were often joined by their allies in the Invaders team, including the original Human Torch. Not Johnny Storm, by the way. Namor, the Submariner. In 1945, Cap and Bucky were on a mission to apprehend the German scientist Baron Zemo, who planned to steal an experimental long-range drone plane developed by the British. As the plane took off, Cap and Bucky made a desperate leap to catch it. Cap couldn't maintain his hold and plummeted earthward. Seconds later, the plane self-destructed, ending the life of Bucky Barnes. Cap's body plunged into the icy waters below, where he was frozen into a state of suspended animation, a condition he would remain in for decades to come. Dang. To safeguard morale, the Allied High Command kept the deaths of Cap and Bucky secret and recruited other heroes to play the role of Captain America. Meanwhile, the true Captain America slumbered within the ice. So really, in the was it the 60s, 70s, and 80s that it was a different Captain America? Well, we'll see. Eventually, while searching for their foe, Namor, the same person who had fought alongside Steve Rogers in the Invaders, the Avengers came across Captain America's body floating in icy waters and revived him. Now, Captain America was a man out of time, a soldier whose war was long over. Attempting to find a place for himself in this strange new society, Cap accepted an offer of Avengers membership and swiftly became the binding glue that held the team together. I wonder... I hope this doesn't become demonetized because of how many times I have said a certain not C word. Because, like, I've heard of other YouTubers getting demonetized because they said that word too many times. Because, like, oh, those were bad people, and they were bad people. They were incredibly awful, terrible people, and are still awful, terrible, bad people. Okay, so this is pointing to a picture of Cap and Falcon. Reformed criminal Sam Wilson, alias Harlem's Guardian, the Falcon, has been one of Captain America's closest friends and most frequent crime-fighting partners. And then this is pointing to a picture with the Avengers. In the picture is Hawkeye, the Wasp, Falcon, Captain America, team leader. Dang. Iron Man, Vision, and Scarlet Witch. Cool. Cap also offered his services to the old war buddy Nick Fury, now head of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was while operating as S.H.I.E.L.D. that, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that Cap first encountered Sharon Carter. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Agent 13, who would become his paramour. Hailed as the most trusted costumed champion of all, Captain America fought on, struggling to uphold freedom, democracy, both alone and with the Avengers, right up until the moment of his death. Oh, dang. Essential storylines, Captain America and the Falcon. Numbers 153 to 156. I guess this is including, Falcon, because it's right next to the picture with Cap and Falcon. Cap and his partner, the Falcon, must combat the replacement Captain America and Bucky of the 1950s, who have been driven mad by the flawed serum that gave them their abilities. Captain America number 1 to 6. Captain America reveals his true identity as Steve Rogers to the world after he is forced to take the life of a terrorist leader. Captain America number 1 to 14. Cap is on the trial for the Winter Soldier, a legendary assassin from the pages of history who may actually be his former sidekick. Let's not spoil that, even though that's very obvious. Lucky Barnes. Okay. Over the years, Cap has contested with numerous opponents intent on taking up his mantle. One of the challenges was the anti-Cap, the modern-day counterpart created by the naval intelligence as an extreme anti-terrorist operative. Eventually facing defeat by Captain America for a second time, the anti-Cap chose death rather than capture. Oh, sheesh. Page 3. After the announcement of the Superhero Registration Act, Captain America, Steve Rogers, could not stomach enforcing what he considered to be unjust law. Okay, hang on. I feel like we're skipping a step because, like, the last thing that was mentioned in the main paragraph was right up until Captain America's death. What? We're kind of skipping a step. Comic books, where superheroes are constantly revived over and over and over again. Let's go with that. Anyways, back to page 3. After the announcement of the Superhero Registration Act, Captain America, Steve Rogers, could not stomach enforcing what he considered to be unjust law. He broke with his old friend Tony Stark, Iron Man, and formed a resistance movement to help unwilling heroes to defy the law. This split fractured the superhero community and set the heroes against each other in what would become known as the Civil War. At the end of the war, Iron Man defeated and captured Rogers, who was soon after At the end of the war, Iron Man defeated and captured Rogers, who was soon after assassinated as he was brought into federal courthouse in New York City. In Death's shadow. Without Rogers to lead it, the organized resistance against the Superhuman Registration Act fell apart. Many of the heroes who had held out stepped forward to register. The Falcon, for instance, signed up solely so he could appear at Rogers' funeral. Having seen many people supposedly die in the past, including Rogers himself, some heroes refused at first to believe that he was dead. It was only after Iron Man and Wolverine, each representing a different side in Civil War, were able to corroborate Rogers' death in the reality began to sink in. Dang. The hunt for a new captain. Although Stark had gone on record stating that no one would replace Captain America, it wasn't long before he went looking for a replacement. With Captain America's costume and indestructible shield in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody, he could give the assignment to whoever he liked. When Stark discovered that Clint Barton, Hawkeye, had somehow survived the Scarlet Witch's disassembling of the Avengers, he brought Barton aboard the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier to show him the original S.H.I.E.L.D. Revealing that he had 2 imperfect copies made. The first sat on display at the Smithsonian, while the second was to be buried with Rogers. The real one was up for grabs. Really? That seems a little disrespectful, but okay. Barton tried out the shield, becoming the first person to wield it properly after 77 other people had failed. Stark gave Barton the shield and the costume to try out as he went to arrest Patriot and the new Hawkeye for failure to comply with the Superhero Registration Act. At the moment of truth... Wait, what? At the moment of truth, Barton, dressed in Rogers' uniform and holding the shield, let two heroes go instead of arresting them. He then gave the shield back to Stark. Bucky claims the shield. Unwilling to let Rogers' shield languish in the custody of S.H.I.E.L.D., which he blamed in part for Rogers' death, Bucky Barnes stole it. Back from his purported death, after which he had become the Winter Soldier, he used the shield in a few missions of his own. While taking the shield, he ran into Natasha, Alianovna? Black Widow. What? I thought her name was Romanov. Was that only in the MCU that she was named that? Okay, well now I need to check that. Hang on. Bum 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 bum. B. Black Knight, Black Panther. Black Widow. Natasha Alianovna Romanova. Okay. Moving on! While taking the shield, he ran into Black Widow, who he had a relationship when they were both in the employ of the Soviet Union. After S.H.I.E.L.D. had captured Barnes, Stark surprised him by offering him the identity of Captain America to go along with the shield. Barnes accepted on two conditions. First, any secret mental conditioning from his days as the Winter Soldier had to be telepathically removed. Second, he would only answer to himself. Knowing that this would be exactly what Rogers would have wanted, Stark accepted the deal. Feeling unfit to wear Rogers' own costume, Barnes had a new one designed for himself. Unlike Rogers, Barnes was happy to use weaponry in all sorts of his battles, not just the shield. He carried a pistol and a combat knife on his belt, which featured a number of pouches, and he brought in other ordnance as necessary. Dang. And then there's a big statue of Captain America. Let's see. The new Captain America. As Captain America, Barnes foiled the Red Skull's attempts to assassinate both candidates for the U.S. presidency. He also faced off against the Captain America of the 1950s, also known as Steve Rogers. Wait, what? Is there another Steve Rogers that was also Captain America? What? He also faced off against the Captain America of the 1950s, also known as Steve Rogers, who had been brainwashed by the Red Skull and Dr. Faustus. Defeating this hero from the past and restoring his mind established Barnes' claim as the sole Captain America. Barnes fought alongside the heroes of Earth against the Skrulls during the Secret Invasion, participating in the final battle in Central Park. This was his first encounter with many of the heroes that had known Rogers and called him friend, and he handled himself very well. On the night he wears Captain America's costume, Clint Barton sees Patriot and the new Hawkeye battle Firebrand. After the Skrulls were driven off, Barnes joined the underground Avengers team that Rogers had once led. He allowed them to use his secret home in an old warehouse as their base of operations. Barnes worked with them under leadership of Barton, now calling himself Ronin. Oh, so that's where he started using the Ronin identity. Got it. Barnes also renewed his relationship with Black Widow and worked closely with her and the Falcon on many of his missions. While still struggling to fill Rogers' boots, Barnes dedicated himself to being worthy of the honor of wearing the mantle of the icon of his country. He knew he had a lot to make up for from his days as the Winter Soldier, but he was living proof of what people could do with second chances. Yeah, second chances are often really good to have. Unfortunately, some people misuse those second chances. Not everyone, but some people. When Bucky agreed to be Captain America, he designed a new costume for the role. And then it shows him in this new costume. Page 5! Captain America, back to life. When Steve Rogers was gunned down on the steps of the federal courthouse, most witnesses saw only one person shoot him. However, 2 people were involved. The first was Red Skull's agent, Crossbones, who sniped at Rogers from a nearby rooftop. The second was Rogers' girlfriend, Sharon Carter, who had been brainwashed by Dr. Faustus. Dang. Carter herself did not realize her part in the crime until later, and the revelation crushed her. Carter eventually learned that the gun she'd used to shoot Rogers hadn't been a regular pistol, but a device designed by Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom was involved with that? What? Why? That seems so left field out of nowhere. What? Okay. It didn't kill Rogers, but froze him at that moment in time. The Red Skull captured Carter and planned to use sympathetic particles in her blood to retrieve Rogers. What? She escaped and damaged the machinery involved in the Red Skull scheme. This unstuck Rogers in time, sending him back to the time to relive various events in his past. He had to watch them play out again, unable to alter their outcomes. Eventually, the Red Skull managed to bring Rogers back and transferred his own mind from a robotic body into Rogers' form. When the Red Skull tried to kill the new Captain America, Bucky Barnes, Rogers broke his control. So kind of like what happened with Superior Spider-Man? Kind of? I guess? Okay. Dang. 2 captains. After Rogers returned, he saw that Bucky had done an excellent job as Captain America and encouraged Bucky to continue. Both men wore the costume through the siege of Asgard at the end of the Dark Reign. Afterwards, Rogers let Bucky have the mantle to himself. The president pardoned Captain America for his actions during the Civil War and repealed the Superhero Registration Act, which had sparked the conflict. Okay. At the president's request, Rogers took over from Norman Osborn as the head of national security, putting him in charge of rebuilding both S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers. Rogers served in that capacity until Baron Zemo revealed Barnes' identity not only as Captain America, but also as the Winter Soldier. Barnes was found innocent in court, but his reputation was ruined, and the president asked Rogers to return to being Captain America. Rogers resisted for a while, but it seemed that Scotty, a transformed sin? What does that mean? Had killed Bucky during Fear itself. Oh, sheesh. Rogers resumed the role again. Oh, no, that was the end of the sentence. That was such a long sentence. In a subsequent battle, the Asgardian god of fear, Serpent, attacked Rogers and shattered his shield, but Rogers rallied. He later used Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, to bring Scotty down. Odin had the shield reforged for Rogers. Really? Okay. What, did he use Uru to reforge it, or did he just reforge it with the regular old vibranium? During the Spider Island event, the Spider Queen and Jackal transformed Rogers into the Spider King. Okay. A creature capable of spreading spider powers as a virus across New York City. By means of an antidote made with anti-venom's blood, Rogers was cured, after which he helped Spider-Man win the day. Okay. We like Spider-Man mentions every now and then. After leading the Avengers in a huge conflict with the X-Men over the use of the Phoenix Force, Rogers reformed the Avengers once again. So that was Avengers versus X-Men, that whole event. Which, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know that much about that event in particular, but it would be cool to see that. Hard act to follow. Over the years, several people have served under the role of Captain America. The earliest recorded version was Steve Rogers, an ancestor of... Oh, Steven Rogers. An ancestor of Steve Rogers, who fought in the American Revolutionary War. Since he served in this role before the US was officially a country, he technically wasn't the original Captain America. That honor still belongs to Steve Rogers, the Captain America the Civil War, the US Army created as its super soldier in World War II. After the success of Steve Rogers, the US Army wanted to put more super soldiers onto the battlefield. They experimented with dangerous drugs on 300 African American volunteers. Only 5 survived, and of those, only Isaiah Bradley made it through the war. Sheesh. Did I have them in? No, I don't know if I might have had them in this list. Hang on, I'll see about that later. Shoot, where was I? Isaiah Bradley made it through the war. He stole a Captain America costume and wore it on a mission to destroy a German concentration camp where Nazi scientists were conducting their own super soldier experiments. He was court-martialed for this, but pardoned by the president. During this time in prison, however, the treatment that gave him powers reduced him to a childlike state. Oh, jeez. Isaiah was the grandfather of Elijah Bradley, the young Avenger known as Patriot. When Patriot was shot trying to protect Cap, his grandfather gave him life-saving blood transfusion. Thus, Patriot acquired the powers associated with the super soldier serum. Dang. And then there's a little picture of Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah Bradley served his country well. However, his country did not return the favor. That is just the worst, actually. Like, just awful. Would-be captains. When the original Captain America and Bucky disappeared at the end of World War II, the U.S. needed someone to replace them. To that end, they recruited William Naslund? Okay. The Spirit of 76 to wear Rogers' costume while Fred Davis took over as Barnes. Naslund was killed trying to save John F. Kennedy. After Naslund's death, the U.S. government turned to Jeffrey Mace. Wait, where was I? Turned to Jeffrey Mace, the original Patriot, to pick up Cap's shield. Fred Davis served as his Bucky for a while, but when Davis was wounded in action, Mace turned to Betsy, former girlfriend of Steve Rogers and now a hero called Golden Girl, and trained her to be his new partner. The two retired from their roles in 1949 and married in 1953. As a boy, William Burnside idolized Captain America, writing a dissertation for his PhD about his hero. During his research, he discovered Captain America's secret identity as well as the formula for the super soldier serum. He changed his name to Steve Rogers and persuaded the US government to surgically transform him into Steve Rogers' twin, and then make him into the next Captain America and his student Jack Monroe into the new Bucky of the 1950s. Unfortunately, the serum slowly drove them insane, making them both paranoid and violent. Jeez. Don't do drugs, kids. They were forcibly retired and replaced in suspended animation for decades. The pair were awakened at one point after Steve Rogers returned and sent to kill him. Defeated, they were put back into storage and then turned over to Dr. Faustus, who brainwashed Burnside into becoming the Grand Director, the leader of neo-Nazi group. Whew. We're almost done with Cap. Fret not. This is going to be the biggest section of this whole stream. Sheesh, though. There was a lot of information about Cap in this book. Because, like, there's a lot of history with this character, as well as others who took up the mantle of Captain America. Rogers defeated Burnside, and Faustus returned Burnside to a suspended animation. After Rogers' supposed death after the Civil War, Faustus brought Burnside back to battle the new Captain America and revived Bucky Barnes. At one point, Burnside captured Barnes and forced him to wear his old Bucky costume and serve as Burnside's sidekick in a terrorist group. Defeated once more, Burnside reappeared as a vigilante after Steve Rogers returned from the dead. Burnside was hit by a truck. Really? Just hit by a truck? Burnside was hit by a truck while Rogers was trying to stop him. While he was healing in the hospital, Rogers arranged for Burnside's false death, giving the man a new life and promising him treatment for his mental illness. Sheesh. Becoming Nomad, Rogers once again became the first to don a costume to be worn by many others. Nomadic Cap. For a while, Rogers became disillusioned with the US government. I wonder why! Can I zoom in more? Can I zoom in more for dramatic effect? Actually, I might be able to do this. I wonder why. For a while, Rogers became disillusioned with the US government and gave up on being Captain America, taking on the identity of Nomad. 3 men carried Captain America's shield during this period. Bob Russo, Scar Tupin, and Roscoe Simmons. The first 2 washed out quickly when they realized how dangerous the job was. The Red Skull killed the third as a message to Rogers, who returned to being Captain America to battle the Skull. Years later, Cap gave up his shield rather than follow orders he couldn't support. He took to wearing a black costume and calling himself simply the Captain. The government tapped John Walker, a hero known as the Super Patriot, to replace him, and recruited Lamar Hoskins to become his Bucky. When Rogers returned, Walker became U.S. agent and Hoskins became Battlestar. Yeah. Yeah, that was a whole thing. U.S. agent. And that concludes the Captain America portion of of this whole stream. Let's move on to a different piece of music. Let's see, this one is that one, okay. I think we'll go with this one next. All right. So that was a big thing, a big, long tangent about Captain America. Cap he has a lot of history, like a lot of history, and that wasn't even covering just Steve Rogers, because there were a lot of different people who took up the mantle of Captain America. So, like, because he disappeared in the ice like right at the end of World War II. So, like, I guess the U.S. government decided, hey, we need a new Captain America to, like, in universe. Anyways, they decided that we need a new Captain America to give the people hope. Which, okay. All right, anyways, next up is Bucky Barnes. Well, we know all about, I mean, we know some of Bucky because he was mentioned briefly in the Cap section. B. Is it over here? No, that's different. Oh, well, here's Battlestar, if we wanted to go over Battlestar. Maybe? Because a lot of these sections coming up are going to be super short, being like 1 or 2 paragraphs. Box, Brotherhood, Bullseye. Where's Bucky? Oh, maybe it's under Barnes. B.A. Benzema. Oh, here we go. All right. Barnes, Bucky. Orphan James Buchanan? Buchanan? James Bucky Barnes was a mascot for the soldiers at Camp Lehigh, Virginia, where Steve Rogers was stationed. After learning that Steve Rogers was Captain America, Barnes began helping him on his missions and became his official partner. Captain America and Bucky discovered that their enemy, Baron Zemo, was attempting to steal a bomb-filled drone plane. As the plane took off, Bucky leaped aboard and was apparently killed. Captain America was hurled into the English Channel. Decades later, Cap was revived by the Avengers. Years after that, he discovered that Bucky had also survived, but had been transformed by the Soviets into the Winter Soldier. After Cap's death, Bucky became the new Captain America and remained so even after Steve Rogers returned to life. Bucky apparently died in the events of Fear himself, but secretly returned to the role of Winter Soldier in order to make up for his former deeds in that guise. Wait, but it said he died. But then, I guess he pretended to die as Bucky, but then came back as Winter Soldier. Okay. He is 5'7", 140 pounds, with brown eyes and red-brown hair. Excellent hand-to-hand combat, skilled marksman, Olympic-level athlete, acrobat, and gymnast. Personally trained by Captain America, Bucky learned Cap's unique fighting style that employed acrobatics and gymnastics in combat situations. Then there's Barnes Ricky. Ricky Barnes grew up on the Counter-Earth created by Franklin Richards as a response to the attacks of Onslaught. On that world, she became the partner of Captain America, a young female version of Bucky Barnes. Oh, wait, what? On that world, she became the partner of Captain America, a young female version of Bucky Barnes. Okay. I did read that right. Okay. When Captain America and the other heroes defeated Onslaught and returned to the original Earth, Ricky remained behind. Onslaught was reborn years later, and Ricky helped defeat him by pushing him into the negative zone with a borrowed Fantastic Car. Really, just steal the Fantastic Car from Fantastic Four? Okay. She thought she'd sacrificed her life to stop him, but years later awakened on the main Earth. Black Widow found her before she could introduce herself to the new Captain America, Bucky Barnes, as Bucky, and gave her a new costume and name, that of Nomad. Unknown to Ricky, Onslaught had sent her to Earth from the negative zone with some of his energy inside her, so he could use her as an anchor for his return. Once he was defeated again, she asked Gravity to kill her to keep him from using her that way use her that way once more, sacrificing herself a second time. Dang. Alternate realities, aren't they fun? Aren't they just the best? Alright, and now that we've done Bucky Barnes, it's now the Winter Soldier. It's weird that they separate them, though. I don't fully get it, but, like, I don't know. Winter Soldier, the American hero destroyed and rebuilt. In World War II, a young Bucky Barnes served as Captain America's sidekick. Towards the end of the war, the pair clashed with Baron Zemo and hopped on a drone-filled plane with explosives. Captain America watched the plane explode seconds after he fell from it. He awakened decades later, having been frozen in a block of ice, believing that he watched his friend die. We went over this, like, this is the third time now? Dang. Bucky lost his left arm in the explosion, but the cold waters into which he fell preserved him until a Soviet submarine found and rescued him. Taken to Moscow, he awoke with amnesia and with a crude bionic arm in place of his missing limb. General Vasily Karpov, who had fought alongside Captain America and Bucky in the war, took advantage of this opportunity to brainwash Bucky into becoming the Winter Soldier, a coldly efficient assassin and spy. Because of his strong will, however, Bucky's mind kept trying to break through his programming, so Karpov kept him in suspended animation between missions. Well, I think the movies were actually pretty spot on with most of that, pretty much. Barnes' bionic arm can be detached whenever necessary, showing a picture of him with his arm off of his body. Unlike Captain America... wait, what? Unlike Captain America's sidekick Bucky, the Winter Soldier regularly used guns. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. This went on for decades until Karpov died and his protege, General Alexander Lukin, took over the Winter Soldier program. Lukin used Bucky to kill the Red Skull with a sniper's bullet and steal the Skull's newly made Cosmic Cube. We don't know anything about the Cosmic Cube. That was never in the MCU yet. Unless you want to count the Tesseract as that, but that's not really the same thing, I'm pretty sure. It's just a cube with the Space Stone in it. I don't know much about the Cosmic Cube, though. Under Lucan's order, Bucky also killed Nomad and launched an attack on Philadelphia designed to charge the cube. Captain America eventually got his hands on the cube and used it to restore Bucky's memories. Afterwards, Bucky disappeared and began hunting for Lucan. Together, back in the USA. Together with Captain America, Bucky saved London from a giant Nazi robot Lucan unleashed. During the Civil War, Nick Fury, no longer with S.H.I.E.L.D., recruited Bucky to work as an undercover operative. After Captain America's death, Bucky accepted Iron Man's offer to become the new Captain America. He accepted on 2 conditions: that S.H.I.E.L.D. would clean his mind of all brainwashing and that he would only answer to himself. Bucky served as the new Cap even after Steve Rogers returned, but when he was thought killed during Fear itself, he gave up that identity and went back to being the Winter Soldier, but this time as his own man. He set out to make amends for the things he had done while brainwashed, and found himself facing off against the Red Ghost and Lucia von Bardas, the former Prime Minister of Latveria. Oh, that's Doctor Doom's territory. Okay, and that's Winter Soldier. A lot of that was retreading what was already said in the Captain America section. I'm actually a little surprised by that. Like, I thought I would get a little more information than that, but, like, okay. Alright, and that takes care of Bucky. Now, the next few sections are going to be pretty short, I will say. This right here is a good old Crossbones. Let's take a look at Crossbones. This one's a little shorter, not quite 1 page. Real name, Brock Lummo. Occupation, mercenary, criminal. Base, mobile. He's 6'4", holy moly, and 290 pounds. Sheesh. First appearance, Captain America 360, 1989. Brutal hand-to-hand combatant, highly adept with weapons and explosives, including pistols, throwing knives, which he keeps in his boots, and wrist blades, which are hidden in his wristbands. Dang. As a young man, Brock Lummo, a budding neo-Nazi and childhood fan of the Red Skull, led the Savage Crims street gang based in Manhattan's Lower East Side. Already not a great start, because that does not leave a good impression of you, sir. Although this is a Captain America villain, but still. During that time, he attacked a 15-year-old Rachel Leighton, spelled Leighton. Okay. Who would later become Diamondback, and beat her 2 brothers when they came to her defense, killing one. Fleeing prosecution, he trained under the Taskmaster to become a deadly mercenary, and fought and killed people around the world. Jeez. As Crossbones, he hired on with the Red Skull and repeatedly battled Captain America on his boss's behalf, even remaining loyal when the Skull once fired him. He also became the lover of the Skull's daughter, Sin. Oh, is that who Sin is? The Red Skull's daughter? Oh. I see. Crossbones took part in Captain America's assassination, firing the first shot from a sniper's post. S.H.I.E.L.D. arrested him for this, but the Serpent Squad freed him soon after. He joined Luke Cage's version of the Thunderbolts, during which time he was exposed to the Terrigen Mist, which gave him the Inhumans their powers. This temporarily allowed him to fire energy blasts from his face. His face? What, he's becoming like Superman or what? He and Sin recently hired on with Hydra's Department of Occult Armaments, DOA. I see. When Crossbones had superpowers, he could form a ball of fire before his face and fire a blast from it. Dang. How long did he have those powers? When did they even disappear? I mean, he's not a mutant. He's an Inhuman, which, different thing, because that requires getting exposed to Terrigen mists. All right, and that's Crossbones. That's all they have on him. Like I said, short section compared to the previous three, actually. Almost counted Winter Soldier and Bucky Barnes as one, but no, they're separated in the book. Because apparently they're different characters, even though they're not. Alright, let's continue. Captain Falcon! Oh, excuse me, I mean Captain Falcon. Easy mistake. I'm sorry for the confusion. Anyways. Let's go find Falcon, here we go. Falcon! Sam Snap Wilson. Occupation, hero and urban planner. Base, Harlem, New York City. 6'2", 240 pounds. Black eyes. Brown eyes, black hair. Falcon has a telepathic link allowing him to see through the eyes of his trained Falcon, Redwing. It's an actual Falcon in the comics? And not just a robot? I mean, I guess it makes sense to, like, modernize it for the movies and make it, like, quote-unquote more realistic, but, like, dang, a telepathic sight through a Falcon, that's sick as heck. What the heck? Trained by Captain America, almost said Captain Falcon. Trained by Captain America, Falcon is skilled in numerous fighting styles and possesses the agility of a skilled acrobat. Jet-powered glider wings enabled him to fly. When both his actually, let's change the song. We've been through a few sections now. Let's see. This is... Okay, that's that one. How about this one? Here we go. Falcon! When both his parents were murdered, his father trying to stop a street fight and his mother in a mugging, community volunteer Sam Wilson became so disillusioned he turned to crime. While working for a smuggling gang, he crash-landed on Exile Island in the Caribbean and encountered the Red Skull. In order to realize... excuse me. Just trying to get a good position for the book. In order to realize one of his diabolical schemes, the Skull used a cosmic cube to endow Sam with limited superpowers, molding him to become Captain America's ideal sidekick. After helping the Cap to defeat Red Skull, Sam branded himself the Falcon and entered into a long partnership with the famed super soldier. A gift of jet-powered wings from Black Panther enabled him to become Captain America's airborne companion. Wilson moved in and out of the Avengers over the years, but he also finally retired from being a hero after the insane Scarlet Witch unbalanced his mind. He returned to support Captain America's resistance during the Civil War, but after Cap's assassination, he registered and was assigned to protect Harlem. He later joined the Heroes for Hire and even returned to the Avengers. And that's it. Nothing about him becoming the new Captain America. But I'm sure the wiki has something to say about that. Let's look at the wiki, actually. Doo-doo-doo. Trying to find the part where he was given the mantle of Captain America. Find Captain America. Because no matter what, he is Captain America now in the MCU. There is no changing that. Here we go. No, wait, no? Maybe that isn't it. Oh, no, it is. At some point, Captain America was trapped for years in Arnim Zola's time-accelerated Dimension Z, and the Falcon was reunited with him to recover and cope with the loss of Sharon Carter. The duo returned to action when the insane nuke ravaged... I'm not even gonna pronounce that because that is a ridiculously... What? Neurozvekistan. Neurozvekistan? In the name of the United States of America. Captain America and the Falcon put an end to the nuke's massacre, and the Falcon leaked the situation to the media, which sparked an international reaction. Nuke had been manipulated into performing his mission by the Iron Nail, who had wished to challenge S.H.I.E.L.'s absolute power over the world. When Iron Nail detonated Nuke as a human bomb in the S.H.I.E.L.D. facility, the Falcon was harmed. Thanks to the senses of Jet Black, Zola's daughter, who had joined Captain America in Dimension Z, the Falcon was located and nursed back to health. Captain America and the Falcon investigated the situation in the Sahara deserts. This is a long section. Sheesh. But yeah, they fought together. They worked hard to make a new brave world, I guess. Almost sacrificing himself, Sam Wilson miraculously survived the bomb thanks to being protected by the vibranium on his wings. However, Jet Black rejoined her villainous father after being accused by Carter of having provided him intel for the invasion. Celebrated for his heroism, Sam Wilson was given the mantle and the shield of Captain America by Steve Rogers, who chose to step down due to his condition. The all-new Captain America's first mission was to combat Hydra's most recent operations. The criminals took the opportunity of Steve Rogers' retirement to expand their plans. Captain America and his partner, the New Nomad, who had been raised by Rogers in Dimension Z, tackled a Hydra base in Bagalia, where they rescued a Kid Hydra experiment on after Captain America dueled Batroc the Leaper. However, the duel was ambushed by many foes of Captain America, led by Baron Zemo. Captain America chose to retreat with the hostage, who was revealed to be Lucas, an Inhuman with poisonous and contagious blood that could bring an Armageddon upon Earth. Loyal to Hydra himself, Lucas betrayed Captain America, who was at the mercy of the supercriminals Bagalia, especially Crossbones. Captain America was saved by a deep undercover Misty Knight, who shared that Hydra had infiltrated critical groups within the superhero community. As Nomad was apparently slain by Baron Zemo, Captain America had made imperative to... What? Huh? Slain by Baron Zemo. Captain America made imperative to prevent Hydra's attack. In his quest, he overcame Sin's psychology torture to search the bombs and defuse them all around the world to alongside wait, where was I? Alongside Misty Knight. In this quest, he had Armadillo's help. Who the heck is Armadillo? Okay. Who had turned against Hydra during the fight against Cobra. However, when taking the fight to Baron Zemo, Captain America could not prevent Lucas's blood to be scattered across the globe through fleas. You're gonna take over the world with fleas? What? Okay. I mean, realistically, if you're gonna use blood, you're probably gonna use bugs to take over the world, whether be it mosquitoes or fleas, maybe bed bugs. Jeez. Like, no one's gonna expect bugs. Who would use bugs? Really? So who would expect bugs? Nomad joined the fight against Baron Zemo as Captain America assembled a flock of birds to consume the fleas. What? And prevent the dissemination of the biological weapon. With his plan thwarted, Baron Zemo launched a contingency plan, the self-detonation of the infected Baron blood in the atmosphere, resulting in the propagation of Lucas's blood. Redwing confronted Baron Blood in Paris, but was bitten by the vampire. Baron Blood is a vampire? How many dang vampires are in Marvel? Sheesh. There's Morbius, then there's Dracula, and then there's this Baron Blood. Okay. Captain America rescued his pet partner, who had turned into an immortal vampiric bird. Captain America managed to disarm Baron Blood at low orbit at the cost of being infected. He was helped by Misty Knight to recover, since she had secured an antidote from Viper. When debriefing Rogers and S.H.I.E.L.D., Captain America learned that Nomad was missing in action and that Misty Knight was operating by herself, hiding a secret agenda. Ooh, intrigue. Need a big long sip after all that. I hadn't taken any water for this entire stream. Two Americas. Oh man, this is a long section, sheesh. Yeah, Falcon, Captain America, Captain Falcon, whatever you want to call him, Sam Wilson. He is now Captain America in the MCU. No changing it. No need to change it either. He is Captain America. And there is not a dang thing wrong with that. Heck yeah. Alright, so I think I'm gonna move on to the next section. Because, like, there's a lot. Like, a lot in this page after he became Captain America. And, like, he was named the new Captain America by Steve. So, like, anyone saying that he's not Captain America? No, that's wrong. He is Captain America. Hot dang. Whiners, keep whining. Anyways, moving on. Oh, okay, so now we have one of the villains. Another villain, rather. Let's see. That is, not you. Let's see, here we go. Baron Zemo. Let's see here. Helmut Zemo is the son of Baron Heinrich Zemo, Nazi scientist during World War II, who designed super weapons. Heinrich Zemo was operating on working on a glue adhesive X that could never be dissolved, hoping it could be used to immobilize Allied troops. Just gonna use glue on them? Okay. Captain America broke into his lab, and in the fight, Cap's shield shattered the vat containing the adhesive, and Zemo's mask was glued to his head. Oh! Oh! Not being able to remove the mask ever? Sheesh. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, you know what? I think I'd be pretty salty about that. I'd be pretty bothered. After the accident that bonded his mask to his face, the original Baron Zemo became obsessed with destroying Captain America. Yeah, I think I would be pretty bothered by that. I think I would be bothered by that. Oh, I found Baron Blood in here too. Cool. There's a lot of Barons in here. Sheesh. Real name, Helmut Zemo. Occupation, criminal entrepreneur. Base, mobile. He's 5'11", 153 pounds. Blue eyes, blonde hair. First appearance, Captain America, 168, June 1971. Zemo later went to London to steal an experimental droid plane. Captain America and his teenage partner, Bucky Barnes, attempted to stop him, but Bucky was killed and Captain America was flung into the ocean, where he froze into a state of suspended animation. Where have we heard that before? I wonder where we have heard that before. Anyways. When they lost the war, Zemo fled to the jungles of South America, where he conquered a small kingdom. Decades later, he came out of hiding after learning that Captain America had been revived by the Avengers. Zemo formed the first Masters of Evil and formed Simon Williams into Wonder Man, but failed in his attempts to destroy the Avengers. He was accidentally crushed by a landslide during a battle with Captain America. Yeah, yeah. Zemo's hatred of Captain America ultimately led to the rock that killed him. Dang. Essential storylines. Avengers number 16. During a battle with Captain America, the original Baron Zemo is killed. Oh, so the rest of this page is his successor. Man, there's a lot of successors for Captain America characters. Or Captain America adjacent characters, anyways. Continuing essential storylines. Captain America number 357 to 362. The Bloodstone Hunt. Helmut Zemo tries to resurrect his father. Is there another Zemo in here somewhere? Let's check the index. No. What about in the H? Heinrich. H-E-I. No. Their father is not here. Just Baron Zemo. Okay. The Avengers under siege. TPB. Helmut's new Masters of Evil invade the Avengers mansion and take Edwin Jarvis hostage. Thunderbolts, just like lightning. TPB. Helmut Zemo repositions the Masters of Evil into seeming heroes. Dang. From villain to hero and back. The Baron's son, Helmut, calling himself Phoenix, attempted to drown Cap in a boiling vat of adhesive X. Sheesh. The liquid splashed Helmut, scarring his face and giving it the appearance of melted wax. Ugh. Zemo later organized a new Masters of Evil. After the Avengers seemingly sacrificed themselves to quell the menace of Onslaught, Zemo became Citizen V. Citizen Vi? 5? Because it's a capital V, I would assume 5. And turned his Masters of Evil into a heroic super team, the Thunderbolts. Oh, that's the actual Thunderbolts. Okay. After keeping the Grandmaster from the Wellspring of Power, he claimed it himself, planning to use it to take over the world, until the other Thunderbolts knocked him into a time vortex. Okay, just knock him into a time vortex. We have plenty of those lying around, apparently. Returning from the past, Zemo dedicated himself to helping the world, but the revelation that Captain America had covered up the crimes of the Winter Soldier, committed under the mind control, he embittered him. He exposed those crimes and then turned his wrath on Hawkeye for wresting control of the Thunderbolts from him. Okay, so this is the... Oh, I thought this was listing the Thunderbolts. Well, this is the Masters of Evil. Absorbing Man, Baron Zemo, Screaming Mimi? The heck? Mr. Hyde, Moonstone, The Fixer, and Power Man. We're not gonna go over all of them. That's a lot. Anyways, that's Baron Zemo. Like father, like son. That's a fair amount. That's a fair amount for one villain that honestly doesn't really seem to be covered all that much, because, like, I think his only real modern relevance has been Captain America Civil War and Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I think those are his real only relevant pieces of modern media. It's like, dang. What's next? Oh, the Avengers. Oh, perfect. I was actually just on that page. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I think I'm gonna skip this for today because this is a lot, and this doesn't just cover Cap. So I think we're gonna skip. Plus, we are an hour and a half in, and like the first, what, 40 to 50 minutes was all 6 pages. I didn't realize the Avengers was 6 pages long when I bookmarked this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's a lot. So, yeah, let's save the Avengers for another day, because that's a lot. Oh! We were just on that page. It's actually on the same page as Baron Zemo, because this is Baron von Strucker. This is a tiny paragraph, though. Baron von Strucker. First appearance, Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, number 5. January 1964. Real name, Baron Wolfgang von Strucker. I mean, Wolfgang is a pretty cool name, let's be real. Also, if you can hear the fireworks, those are going off. Also, I just realized we're on the beach in the daytime. Let's change that. It's past sunset, let's be real. It's nighttime. Alright. Baron von Strucker. Occupation, terrorist leader. Base, mobile, 6'2". There's so many 6'2" people. 225 pounds. Eyes blue, hair none. That's funny. Even if it is true. Special powers / abilities. Can release the virulent death spore virus from within his body at will. He wears the Satan's Claw, capable of discharging electrical shocks upon his right hand. Dang. Baron von Strucker fought for the Nazis during World War II as the leader of the Blitzkrieg Squad, Germany's answer to the Howling Commandos. After the war, von Strucker evolved a Japanese secret society into Hydra. Kept alive by the death spore virus, von Strucker strove for world domination. Nick Fury killed him, but not before revealing that S.H.I.E.L.D. had been controlling Hydra all along. Wait, what? S.H.I.E.L.D. had been controlling Hydra all along, not the other way around. What the? That's the exact opposite of Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Heck? Okay. And that's the whole section on Baron von Strucker. That's not really a lot from this book, but I'm fine with a short section. Let's actually switch the BGM up. because we had this for quite a bit. What's the next one I want to do? This one? Alright. Sounds good to me. Who is up next for Marvel? Oh, okay, here we go. This will be fairly lengthy. Well, not fairly lengthy. More lengthy than the last section, at least. Sharon Carter! Let's get all cozy up in here. Alright. Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter grew up inspired by tales of her Aunt Peggy Carter's exploits as a member of the French Resistance and Captain America's lover during World War II. She sought a career with S.H.I.E.L.D. and became their operative Agent 13. During which time she met and fell in love with Captain America too. She infiltrated the National Force, a neo-Nazi organization run by Dr. Faustus and William Burnside, who had served as Captain America in the 1950s before going insane. She faked her death to go deep undercover for S.H.I.E.L.D., but after the mission went bad, even S.H.I.E.L.D. presumed her dead. When she returned, Sharon served as S.H.I.E.L.D.'s director for a short time. She became Captain America's S.H.I.E.L.D. liaison officer again after the romantic tension between the pair blossomed into a renewed relationship. Later, under Faustus' hypnotic control, she helped assassinate Captain America, though it turned out she had only unstuck him from time. After Cap's quote-unquote death, she discovered that she was pregnant with his child. What? What? After Cap's quote-unquote death, she discovered she was pregnant with his child. But she lost the baby during a gunfight with Sin. What does Marvel have against babies? What does Marvel have against heroes having babies? Like Spider-Man can't be happy? Cap can't be happy? Okay. Anyways. After Cap returned, she asked him to marry her. Before he could give her an answer, she died, saving him and the rest of the world from Arnim Zola. And that is the whole section on Sharon Carter. Occupation, S.H.I.E.L.D. liaison officer, base, mobile. Height, 5'8", 135 pounds. Blue eyes, blonde hair. First appearance, Tales of Suspense, number 75. March 16, not 16, 1966? What the heck? Highly trained field agent, martial arts expert, and weapons expert. Special talent for disguise, infiltration, and undercover work. Ooh, those are big fireworks. Never liked fireworks, personally. It would be nice if more people moved to drone shows. Less of these explosions in the sky that are just so sudden. Alright, and that's Sharon Carter. Not a lot given. And actually, a bunch of that was already in Cap's section. Because his section is so huge. Oh, wait! Wait, didn't we do this already? Oh, wait, no, we didn't. We didn't actually do this. Because this is not Captain America, but rather... This is U.S. Agent. Here we go. U.S. Agent. Captain America, first appearance, Captain America number 323, November 1986. Just getting the book in a good position. Real name, John F. Walker. Occupation, adventurer, government agent. Base, Washington. Height, 6'4", 270 pounds. Blue eyes, blonde hair. Superhuman strength and stamina. Carries a shield made of vibranium, which can absorb the vibrations from concussive forces directed against it. Ex-soldier John Walker struck a deal with the power broker to become a super patriot. Later, Walker replaced Steve Rogers as Captain America. When Rogers reclaimed his shield, Walker assumed Rogers' costume as the what? Oh. I thought I went offline for a second. Whoops. That was just a Twitch notification. Later, Walker's replaced Steve Rogers as Captain America. When Rogers reclaimed his shield, Walker assumed Rogers' costume as the captain and became the U.S. agent. During the Civil War, he joined the New Omega Flight. Fighting alongside the Avengers at the end of the Dark Reign, he lost his left arm and leg, and later became the warden of the Raft Super Prison. Trapped in an alternate reality with the Dark Avengers, he bonded with a lobotomized Venom symbiote to restore his limbs. Oh. Man, everyone's just becoming a heckin' symbiote, dang, host. Like, it just takes nothing to become a symbiote host nowadays, huh? Sheesh. It used to be special in the 80s and 90s. God dang. Alright, and that was a short section for U.S. Agent John Walker. And now we come to where are you? Oh, this isn't the right page for you. Oh, okay. I'll come back to you because that's something I want to cover. Here we go. Arnim Zola. First appearance, Captain America Volume 1, number 208, April 1977. Real name, Arnim Zola. Occupation, criminal biochemist. Base, Weisshorn Mountain, Switzerland. 5'10", 200 pounds, brown eyes, no hair. Special powers and abilities. Brilliant geneticist, can mentally project his intelligence into any of his creations. This already looks kind of messed up. Like, he has his face on his torso. During the late 1930s, Swiss geneticist Arnim Zola discovered the tome of deviant scientist and learned how to create artificial life. He built himself a new body with a brain inside its chest and holographically projected face and an ESP box for a head. Zola became a valued member of Hitler's Third Reich, preserving his consciousness in the form of the hate mongerer. a frequent foe of Captain America. Zola often worked with the Red Skull. Zola escaped to and ruled Dimension Z, where Cap found and led a rebellion against him. That's it. Not really much on Arnim Zola. I was actually expecting a lot more in this book before I went and looked him up. But no, that tiny paragraph is it. For a Cap villain, not really a lot on him. I was actually kind of surprised. Alright, next up is not the final section, but the final one that I have a picture for. Oh, actually, no. We'll save you for last, because I have one more section that I wanted to go over. Patriot. We went over this briefly in the Cap section. Patriot. Real name, Elijah Bradley. Occupation, student. Base, New York City. 6'2", 205 pounds, brown eyes, black hair. First appearance, Young Avengers #1, April 2005. For a time, Patriot used MGH, mutant growth hormone, to give him enhanced strength, speed, and durability. But now he has these powers due to the super soldier serum. Elijah Bradley is the grandson of Isaiah Bradley, the Black Captain America of World War II, whose mind has been reduced to that of a child by the super soldier serum that empowered him. Yeah, that's a whole thing that really more people should know about, but because that was a tragic story based on actual real world events, apparently. Like, oh my god, it's like horrific stuff. When Iron Lad needed help battling Kang the Conqueror, Elijah resorted to using the designer drug MGH to give himself superhuman powers so he could become a founding member of the Young Avengers. Fireworks. They're so loud. When his teammates learned that Eli was using such dangerous drugs, they convinced him to give them up. Critically wounded, saving the original Captain America from a Kree attack, Eli received a blood transfusion from his grandfather. This saved his life and also gave him Isaiah's superpowers. During the Civil War, Eli and most of the Young Avengers sided with... God, those sound really close. Oh my god. God, you can probably hear them. Oh, sheesh. Okay, hang on. I need to let the dogs in because they are getting very understandably freaked out. Give me a second. Alright, I'm back. Shoot, where was I? I even lost the page that I was on. Here we go, Patriot. Not to be confused with Iron Patriot, which was a whole different thing. Blood transfusion from his grandfather gave him superpowers. During the Civil War, Eli and most of the Young Avengers sided with Captain America's anti-registration forces. They also were the first people to fight the Skrulls in Manhattan during the Secret Invasion, and they worked with they worked against Hammer during the Dark Reign. And yeah, that's Patriot, not Arnim Zola. That's pictured there. I could have went and found a picture. I know the fireworks are loud and scary. Very loud, very scary. Even startled me. And I know what they are. So I can't even imagine what the dogs are going through. Sheesh. Give me a second. Well, I know who the Yahoos are now that set off the fireworks. All right. Where are we? Okay, so we are at the last section now, which would be the Red Skull. Let's begin, because this is 2 whole pages. Red Skull, the most dangerous of all Hydra agents. Real name, Johann Schmidt. Occupation, terrorist conqueror. Base, Nazi Germany. Later, various secret bases around the world. Height, original body. 6'1", clone body 6'2". Well, that tells us he has a clone that is enhanced, I guess. Weight, original body 195 pounds, clone body 240 pounds. Eyes, both bodies blue. Hair, original body brown, clone body formerly blonde, later none. Totally ruthless, brilliant subversive strategist, excellent hand-to-hand combatant, and a marksman. Uses lethal dust of death, which causes a victim's head to resemble a ghoulish red skull. Oh, sheesh. Johann Schmidt was born in a German village. His mother died giving birth to him, and after failing to drown the newborn child, Johann's father committed suicide. Oh, fun. Orphaned, Schmidt became a beggar and a thief, though sometimes he took menial jobs. Schmidt was working as a bellboy in a hotel when Adolf Hitler, dictator of Nazi Germany, paid him a visit there. Recognizing in Schmidt's eyes a hatred of all humanity that mirrored his own, Hitler decided to turn him into the perfect Nazi. He oversaw Schmidt's training, presenting him with a skull-like head mask, and named him the Red Skull. Answerable only to Hitler himself, the Red Skull undertook a range of missions for the Third Reich, especially acts of terrorism. In order to have an American counterpart to the Red Skull, the U.S. government gave super soldier Steve Rogers the identity of Captain America. Shortly before the U.S. entered the World War II, sheesh. Just me misspeaking. Shortly before the U.S. entered World War II, the Red Skull first battled Captain America, who would become his greatest foe. During the war, the Red Skull commanded numerous military missions. He rose to become the second most powerful man in the Third Reich, feared even by Hitler. During the fall of Berlin, Captain America fought the Red Skull in Hitler's bunker. A bomb caused a cave-in that seemingly killed Red Skull. However, an experimental gas kept the villain in suspended animation for decades. Sheesh. During World War II, the Red Skull repeatedly battled Captain America and his partner Bucky. Back from the dead. In the 1950s, communist agent Albert Malik impersonated the Red Skull, but eventually the original was found and revived. Since then, Captain America has repeatedly thwarted his bids for global domination. At one point, the Red Skull died, but Arnim Zola transferred the Skull's consciousness into a clone of Captain America. Oh, fun. By accident, his own dust of death caused the Skull's new head to resemble a living Red Skull. You know what? That actually makes sense that he's a clone of Captain America, kind of. Because rhyming, and also, he's the exact same height and weight of Cap. So, like, heck. Oh, and he didn't even get his actual Red Skull until, like, when he came back in the 1950s. Dang. So he was just a normal dude? Like, before then? What the heck? The Skull made many enemies, including General Lucan, who sent the Winter Soldier to kill him. Before dying, the Skull used a cosmic cube to transfer his mind into Lucan's body. With the help of his daughter, Sin, Crossbones, and Dr. Faustus, the Skull set up the assassination of Captain America at the end of the Civil War. This was, however, not just the end of his plans for Cap, but the very beginning. That was kind of a big jump. Jumping from 1950s to more modern day with the Civil War. Like, dang. Essential storylines. Tales of Suspense number 66. The first time that the fascinating origin of the Red Skull was revealed. Tales of Suspense number 79 to 81. The Red Skull is revived in modern times and steals the Cosmic Cube. Captain America numbers 101 to 104. The Red Skull unleashes the fourth sleeper robot and leads his army of exiles. Hello, welcome on in. We are going over Captain America adjacent characters. This is what I call Marvel Deep Dive, where we take a deeper look into Marvel characters. And today is Captain America themed because 4th of July. Lovely! Sounds good. Well, I guess sit back and enjoy the last little bit because this is the last section. We're covering Red Skull right now. In any case, I hope you have a wonderful time. I have a little bit of water left. Oh, you're joking? Ah, fair enough. Hard to tell with text sometimes. Tell me everything I know. Oh, geez. There's been a lot of mantle passing around with Captain America. Like, it has been stated over and over without all of these characters. Like, just going through all of them. Like, even just with the Cap section, there was, like, what, 4 or 5 different people that took up the mantle of Cap? And then we went over Bucky, and then Bucky again, who was also Captain America once, for a sizable time, actually. Crossbones is... There was not much in this encyclopedia about Crossbones. Like, it talked about him assassinating Captain America, except it wasn't really him assassinating him. But it was made to look like he assassinated him. The nerd is strong with this one. Captain Falcon! I mean Captain Falcon. Captain America. Yeah, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. He took up the mantle for Captain America for a bit after Steve was poisoned and stuff. It was a whole big thing. Like, there's a huge article on the wiki about it, and I could not go over it all because, like, this is... Like, the Captain America section in this book was already 6 pages long. It was a lot. But a lot of these other sections were, like, 1 or 2 paragraphs. It was cool, though. Ah! I'm not a Pokemon! What the heck? Baron Zemo, who apparently that the mask that the original Baron Zemo wears is permanently attached to his face because of adhesives that he was developing to trap the Allied forces. Yeah, he was just gonna glue them to the ground. But he ended up gluing his face to, his mask to his face instead. Like, what kind of idiot gets his mask permanently attached to his face like that? Jeez. I kind of skipped over the Avengers because, like, that's another 6 pages, which would have taken up so much time, but also involves other characters other than just Cap. So I'm going to be saving that for another time. Baron von Strucker, which honestly was not much at all. Sharon Carter, who was involved with that assassination because of brainwashing, because comics. U.S. Agent, which was another person who took up the mantle for Cap for a bit. Yum! Arnim Zola, who is like biochemist. And was working with Red Skull for a bit, I believe. He was at the very least working for Hydra, I think. Wait, was he? Yeah, I believe he was. And then we're at Red Skull again. And now I continue with this big... Like, this is a big book. Like, it's, what, 4... I listed the number of pages earlier. 439 pages in this book. And this isn't even, like... Like, this book is from 2016, I think? So, like, even now, it's, like, a bit outdated, but it's still pretty recent enough-ish. It's like, I'm sure there's even more information that you could get from more modern books. But this is the most recent book that I got as a gift, and I wanted to make use of it. Anyways, continuing with Red Skull, the enemy returns. It seemed that Captain America had died from a bullet fired from the Skull's henchman Crossbones. However, the Red Skull had actually arranged for Dr. Faustus to brainwash Sharon Carter, and she had shot Cap in the confusion caused by Crossbones' attack. Smash. Nice. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a lovely rest of your evening. And happy 4th of July. I love new people around here. Alright, you can stop waving now, Data. There you go. Have a good night. Stop by again whenever I go live. Right on. See you later. Let's see here. Oh, by the way, we don't usually do a lot of this. We usually play a lot of games. But I appreciate the thought in any case. Brainwash Sharon Carter. She hadn't shot Cap in the confusion by Red Skull's attack. She hadn't used a pistol, however, but a device designed to freeze Captain America in time. With the help of Arnim Zola, the Red Skull planned to pluck his foe back out of time and transfer his mind into Cap's body. Carter foiled the Skull's plan by escaping from him and damaging Zola's machinery. This left Cap unstuck in time, but only temporarily. The Red Skull and Zola traveled to Latveria for help from Dr. Doom. Okay, random person to ask for help, but okay. And completed the transfer. They then returned to Washington, D.C. and fought the Avengers. The Red Skull planned to kill the new Captain America, Bucky Barnes, but as they battled, the original Captain America mentally broke through the Red Skull's controls and pushed him out of his brain. The Red Skull returned to his robot body and battled the Avengers. Carter shot him with a weapon that she thought would shrink him, but instead it grew him into a giant. What? Hey Sharon, you said it for Wumbo when you should have said it for Minnie. Girl. While the Avengers kept the Red Skull occupied, Carter shot him with a barrage of missiles. Really? A barrage of missiles? Destroying his body and putting an end to him. So he's still giant, but he just has a bunch of missiles after him? Oh, okay. The Skull's heir. The Red Skull's daughter, Sin, was standing close to him when his robot body was destroyed. The explosion blasted her, removing her hair and turning her burnt skin bright red. She took on his name and mantle, becoming the new Red Skull. The new Red Skull returned to her father's secret bases to explore her inheritance. In one, she discovered his diary and learned of his attempt to invoke the Serpent of Norse myth to help... Yeah, sure, just invoke the Serpent of Norse myth to help the Nazis win World War II. Sure, that'll work out great. This led to her This led her to an isolated fortress in which she found a mythical hammer. When she picked it up, something her father had been unable to do, it transformed her into Scotty, the Herald of the Serpent. How many Norse hammers are there? We have Mjolnir, we have this one. Heck. Scotty, the Herald of the Serpent. This launched fear itself. Following the eventual defeat of the Serpent, Odin took Scotty's hammer and the Red Skull changed back into herself, still disfigured. Despite her defeat, she managed to remain free. Sheesh. The new skull. The original Red Skull had died, but he wasn't done yet. After Sin's defeat, Arnim Zola revived a clone of the skull he had kept in suspended animation since the end of World War II. How many clones does he have? How many clones? Awakened in the middle of the conflict between the Avengers and the X-Men, the cloned skull decided that mutants were the source of everything that was wrong in the world. Bro. He's just evil. He's just pure evil. Holy moly. The Skull assembled a new force of S-Men. Enhanced people loyal to him and bigoted against mutants, and stole Professor X's body. Yeah, they're bigoted. Holy moly. Like, you know that mutants are, like, an allegory for, like... Like, they are an allegory. They were made to be an allegory for people of different races and minorities and being outcasts of society. Like, that's what they were an allegory for. And this is just making it even more apparent. And actually using the word bigoted, like, that makes it all the more apparent. Bigoted against mutants and stole Professor X's body. The Skull then took part of Xavier's brain and grafted it onto his own. Bro! The heck? Giving him some semblance of Xavier's tremendous psychic powers. He then took to the streets of Manhattan, telepathically projecting his hatred of mutants to the people there. Bro! What the heck? That's so messed up. Just spreading hate. Hate spreads as more hate. Hate begets hate. Just wrong. Telepathically projecting his hatred of mutants to the people there. The Skull tried to control a new team of Avengers led by Havoc, mentally dominating Thor with the help of Honest John. Who the heck is that? He failed to do the same to Captain America, however, and he lost his hand to Wolverine, who sliced it off when he learned what the Skull had done to Xavier. Good. He should be it. He should have his hand cut off. Holy moly. Rogue managed to disrupt the Skull's power, sending him and his S-Men fleeing to fight another day. Bro. Alright, who are his S-Men? Living Wind. Dancing Water? Yeah, that's right. Was that just like living water? What the heck? MZ. Who the heck is that? Okay. Goat-faced girl. What? Red Skull. Dangerous Djinn. Insect. and Tsar Sultan. That's Tsar Sultan. What in the world? What is this team? Holy moly. And that's everything on Red Skull. Bro, he's evil and messed up. Evil, 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 evil. Pure evil. And there was this actually there was this one time there's this DC crossover. This is probably well known, but like Joker was like around I think they were teaming up with Red Skull, and then he learned that Red Skull was Nazi, and he was like, no, 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 I may be a psychopath, but I am an American psychopath. I will not be teaming up with you. Something to that effect. Like, even Joker has limits. What the heck? Dang. Alright. So that concludes this Captain America themed Marvel deep dive. Lot of interesting stuff. I knew some people also took up the mantle of Captain America along with Steve Rogers. I did not realize how many. There were a lot of people that took up the mantle. Including Captain Falcon over here. Sam Wilson. Captain America. Oh, Captain, my Captain. And, yeah, that concludes this Marvel deep dive. That was a lot of talking, and I hope everyone enjoyed a little bit of Marvel lore. Alright, let's stop the music. Stop it now. Let's continue the summer music. Let's start over from the beginning. I hope everyone had a good time with that. I know these are not super popular, which I don't... That's part of the reason why I don't do them super often. At most, once a month. More likely, once every couple of months. But I do enjoy doing them every now and then. It's fun to learn about more Marvel lore that I didn't really know much about. And I know it's a lot of reading as well. I try to insert my own thoughts and opinions while I'm going through the Marvel lore. But sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, this what happened. That's cool. But yeah, I do realize that these are not super popular streams, but I do enjoy doing them every now and then. And I could have saved this for Veterans Day? Would it be Veterans Day? Hang on. Yeah, I guess I could have saved this for Veterans Day, but like that's a ways out, and I don't even know if I'm gonna be doing this all that much. But like, this is Captain America. America Day. 4th of July. Yeah. I figured it would be a decent time to do this, and I honestly couldn't think of very many games that I wanted to do today anyways. But, yeah, I thought this was a fun, neat little time to do this. Anyways, that will be it for today. let's head on over down here quick, as this page has all of the schedule and stuff. All right, so schedule. We are going to be playing a game called On Guard. It is a swashbuckling adventure game where you play as a swashbuckling adventurer in Spain, I think. I'm pretty sure it's Spain. Or it's at very least Spain inspired. So even if it's not Spain itself, it's very much inspired by Spain. I think this will be fun. This will be a fun game, I think. I tried it out a little bit, like just a little bit of the first level, and it seems like it's a pretty good game. It's not super long. It should be like 2 streams long-ish, give or take. But yeah, I think that'll be a good time. Anyways, that's gonna be it for me. Is anyone I'm following live right now? Over on Twitch? We could go there, but I don't really get an opportunity to go there. Not too much, anyways. Yeah, I think we'll go there. They've been live for less time anyways. Alright, so thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for On Guard. A fun swashbuckling adventure. So yeah, I'll see you later. Bye!